Started, host.
107.3 WBBC. This is Ask a Man Monday with Tay Newsy and myself. Ladies, thank y'all for being here with us. This wouldn't be a motherfucking show without you, so thank you. We're 25 minutes in, so um, we had a question. We had a question that we've never been asked before. Chris, I'm glad that you're here with us because maybe you can help answer this question also. But the first question was, what is an alpha male? And in my opinion, uh, there's really no definition of an alpha male. I believe people have just come up with this throughout the years. Uh, Alpha male is the definition of it. Let me say this: is a dominant male animal in a particular group. Two of them trotted over to greet the alpha male and a black wolf with a grizzly muzzle. Or it says another definition: a man tending to assume a dominant or domineering role in social or professional situations. And with that being said, that just kind of branches off what I'm saying. You don't have to try to be a male. You don't have to try to be the team captain in a sense. Uh, all men are designed to be leaders, and putting a term on that is just trying to contain a man, in my opinion. Any type of man, um, that stands on its own is going to have some type of dominance or leading role, in my opinion. But help me out if I'm wrong.
Chris, you got the
Yeah,
floor, bro.
I have. You hear me? You hear me good?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because when the labels are start putting in as alpha male, beta male, um, they like you said, they try to put restriction on a man, and that takes away really from a woman looking at a man for who he is. You know what I mean? Because you can have a if they call alpha male in a work environment that may seem like an alpha male, but when he go home, he may be, laid back and chill. He may be in the workplace, chill and everything, and still able to step in and be leadership and have that leadership mentality. Uh, so I think you're right about that. It's just limitations on that, and it takes the focus off of the man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brother Newsy, how you feel about that, man?
I have to agree with y'all. I mean, we all come from different lenses, different. We all come from different spaces and stuff. And I can say, I believe an alpha male is judged amongst males. Um, you get into a space where it's a bunch of gentlemen, and although we are all meant to be leaders, sometimes one man stands out above the rest, and that man, when we think alpha male, when I hear most people talk about it, it's always from the most how do I want to put this? It's always from the most animalistic, lower chakra type. We always talk about it in that and from that aspect, but it's not really about that. That's when you're talking about just like, hey man, it's it's eat or be eaten type shit. But
Hmm.
but when it comes to men and being leaders, and there's going to be some standouts, and a man who has integrity and is able to lead and don't get jealous and stay focused, and doesn't get intimidated by others, and remains cool in certain situations. I think those are very good characteristics of an alpha male, and they also are a good example for future alpha males. When once that man isn't that no more, and I say that lightly, it's just the man's time has passed. Then his legacy will show with his children and with those who have encountered him. Um, it will show the strength of the people around him will show in his legacy. So that's what I believe alpha male is.
I can dig that. Ladies, how do you feel about the answer? The ones on StreamYard and also Instagram. And shout out to Crazy Work Mom and A Murph.
What was the question?
I did miss a little bit of that, but I completely agree with what I heard. Nunzi, as far as your definition of the alpha male, I can agree with that. I also I think these men women debates have gotten drawn out to the fullest. And I think people need to actually reevaluate their perception of all of these things, to be honest.
Yeah.
There are a lot
Latifa.
of women who do the same things, that energy that these so called alpha males carry. There are a lot of women who carry that energy naturally. And it doesn't mean they're necessarily masculine. They just have that and they're able to maintain the household and actually do that while maintaining a little bit of femininity at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Latifa.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I take my father for instance as him being the alpha male, and how Newton said earlier about the animalistic is like put like to seem like the worst thing possible. And for my father, I would say he's kind of like that. It's put that way because just like you said, it's like that fight or flight. And with him being in life and he's doing everything alone, he got stuck in those animalistic traits to where people can come around. He think everybody's out to get him. He always stands his ground. He cussing out the police. He cuts out anybody. He don't care. He just ain't taking no shit from nobody pretty much. But he also lacks certain things because he's with him being like fully in his left brain. What would you say? Like a man,
Hmm.
he lacks like empathy, like
That
the
gentleness.
feeling side. Yeah, it's like he's all the way goddamn yeah male. Then he don't really just care. So, but then again, alpha male, some of them, my husband, for instance, when he goes to work, he's kind of like that. But when he comes home, it's like he don't have to be that way no more. Because when you're outside in the public, you're gonna have to. You're a man, and you're gonna prove yourself. And you're gonna know that you're a man. You're gonna walk firm in who you truly are. But when you come home, you don't have to do that.
Right.
So
That's
that's
beautiful.
how I look at it.
That's how it should be. Yeah, you should be. The space that you maintain
Because that's
there,
protective. The man was
right?
a protector,
And
so
and
it's
and,
just
and you
natural to
protect him.
occur.
So
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was going to say because you're providing that peace for him. You're allowing him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
right.
You're his peace.
Yeah, he don't have to be on edge when he get home.
I'm hearing the responses um from what we said, but the definition that I just read, the first definition stated an animal. And when I think
Right.
about alpha male animals, I think of lions and tigers, right?
Bears.
Not bears.
Absolutely.
For me, I just,
Yeah.
But
Lion.
um I also think of lions or female animals such as, and even in their essence, they're feminine but they're alpha. because when that father of the animal is not there or even dead, we've all seen on National Geographic TV shows how dominant she can be and she gets over her babies, and only her babies, when it comes to feeding her babies. Everything else, she's feminine in and she still needs help, but she does take care of business when necessary. Reflecting that to the question that was asked to us men, what is an alpha male? And listening to the ladies respond to what we as men feel that alpha male is, it just shows so many things. And one, it shows how people are still trying to get men and women to battle against each other. A debate between man and women is not necessarily always healthy. It could be sometimes unnecessary. Um, an alpha male is not a bully, and in my opinion, society has softened the word bully by calling us men or black men alpha males. Um, because you don't have to try to be a man, just like you don't have to try to be a woman unless you don't know which neither essence is. Uh, when I always speak about God and always speak about spirit, it just comes back basically to what I've tried to say and give examples of. A man of God is not just somebody that's doing the right thing. He has all of the characteristics of good fruit, and one of them is gentleness and kindness. But just like Motifa had to say her father was hard, a man is hard when necessary, or when it's necessary, and when it's time to take that position and relax. A man should be gentle, kind, and display meekness. If they don't, they just still have some things to learn. But an alpha male is any man that's born with a penis that understands his role as a man.
Facts.
Yeah. Chris, you wanted to add something to that?
Uh, no, really, that was a good example because when you when a man feel like when you have that label and a man feel like he has to be an alpha male, he feel like he has to be hard all the time. Like you said, you can't be compassionate, you can't show gentleness, you can't show meat. And so with the communication of that and getting the definition of both, you really come to understand that you put any man against the wall, he gonna come out and fight.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, well, man, he just laid back, but you put any man against the wall, do that make him a beta? Does that make him a alpha male if he get out and fight? And that's the wrong with the labels between the both because it depends on the situation and it's not evaluated correctly.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you said that because when Zilla read the definition, it did pertain to animals. And we have to realize that yeah, we are mammals too, but we are set aside and we're different for a reason. And we actually have in a sense we have dominion over the animals, so we handle things differently. Even if there is a class of alpha males and there's levels to that. um if you talk about from the animalistic perspective, to be an alpha male with other animals is very vicious. We talk about the lions and how they if they were to take over a pride, then they would kill all the cubs and in fear that that cub will grow up to challenge them. So that's a totally different category when you talk about alpha males and alpha females in other species in their world and how they get down. And let me just say that Crazy Work Mom did put in a couple of things. She brought up male lions protect, the females hunt for food and feed the cubs. I watch a lot of Animal Planet. I've actually seen the female lionesses protect the male lion that they saw valuable to them. And when a challenger comes to the Pride Lands, they'll fight with that lion, you know,
Goddamn right.
to protect their future and to protect the one that they chose. Um, it's a lot of situations like that, but I totally get it. It's a very complicated thing, but call me Crocodile Dundee. Really? Who said that? Oh, there you
I'm
go.
sorry.
Guilty. Yeah,
I had to put it on there.
Crocodile Dundee. This is a knife. Call that a knife? Anyway, yeah. Now, I really might just be Crocodile Dundee. Shit, I sit there. Yeah, shit. Look, you call that a knife? This is a knife. God
Shit,
damn
never
it.
playing.
Goddamn.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, those type of things are serious. So that's why it was important for us to kind of break it down, like what it is to be a human male, and you get to that tier of it's totally different than that. But because the time we in and the perspective people have on what a man is supposed to be, we get all these different opinions, and since there's so much information, that gives people a bunch of variety to kind of choose and select what an alpha male is. So you might see somebody out there killing in the streets, and you may think he alpha, but that's in reality that's a menace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, can't work with no reason. You can't talk to a person. It's always about you ready to kill, you ready to slaughter, and all that. That's very barbaric. That's not alpha. Because you might be taking out somebody who can really save the community. You're not thinking about that. So that's totally different. But we noticed that we can see, especially now in the times we have now, we have some of the young people, some of our young ladies who give their perspective on what a man is or what their preference is. A lot of the time it be dudes that they believe or what they've been taught to believe are alpha males, because how active they are in the street or how they, do whatever they do with them. You see, it's a wild road. But that's not necessarily true. We have future leaders that need guidance, they need grooming. And to be an alpha, at one point you was somebody who was a student. You learn from people. So we don't want to taint that by giving the wrong information, you know.
Uh-huh.
Press, what do you feel about that? We didn't hear your perspective. Okay, Press is eating right now. She's probably feeding her alpha male very soon. And he done sweat her hair out a couple of times, Stevie. So I know she's like, okay, I'm gonna feed this nigga. He need to be strong. Um, but it's okay. That's what it's all about.
All the men are cammed up, so I feel like really awkward. But
I appreciate that. Thank you
Oh,
for coming on.
titty.
Oh. We talking about. Thank you, Divine. Appreciate that.
when I can,
Yeah. I heard you moving around in there. I knew you was wrapping your hair up.
Okay. Well, the second question we have in the thread, and I can't remember what it was. Not actually, I can't remember. It was a question as far as what did a woman do to you personally that hurt you the most, I believe. Let me, matter of fact, let me go check that just to confirm that question.
Mm.
No, I can't. Yeah, you got to check that out. I can't do it.
I
What
don't-
it's titled as question number 2 or something like that.
okay, let me check. Is it in? It's in this?
Me and your thread.
It's in me and your thread. Okay. Okay. Well,
That's a good one, please.
second question. Let me scroll up. I'm always sending stuff. Hold on, wait.
Yeah, we got a lot of conversations, nigga. I looked up like, goddamn.
Yeah, I got to scroll all the way up. Hold on.
Oh, but
Yeah,
I
this is.
labeled it number 2.
I think that was the question though. Let me.
God, please let the divine nine tower fall down. In Jesus' name.
Hmm. You know what, Zilla? I'm trying to get the hang of the layout.
Oh, the layout here.
Yeah,
It's not that bad. I actually like
I'm
it.
on I'm on the phone though.
Okay, I can't find the shit. It's so far back. It shouldn't be this far back though. Maybe I skipped it.
I
But
think
that's
you
kind of like what that question that the way you asked it is very similar to wait, let me see. Wait, it could be in here. Was it in the backup page chat or the main one? I mean, that basically was the question. We can go off that. I would just go off that one because for some reason I can't find it.
What question were you guys talking about?
Okay,
I
we
think
had
only
two.
they can
Oh,
see.
I was asking Zilla. Okay, so okay, here we go. What's the most painful thing a woman has done to you? Okay, there it is. Okay, that's the question. What's the most painful thing a woman has ever done to you?
Mm.
Zilla, would
Chris,
you
you
like
want to go
to?
first?
Yeah, I go first. I was taking this girl. She was in prison for 4 years, and I took care of her daughter, her 5-year-old daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and I built an emotional bond with the daughter, and the baby daddy mother cussed me out when the girl got out, and I had to leave that situation because I wasn't getting no respect from the mother or the grandmother. And for her to do that, knowing that we had a relationship and I was helping her daughter, and she just got out, and I met her one time, and that was it. So that's the
Mm.
hurtful thing I experienced.
Damn.
If I may ask, do you feel like she was using you until she got stable enough to like get everything on her own?
Oh yeah, of course.
Did you know that already ahead of time?
You said what now?
Did you know already what she was doing, like using you?
No.
Wow. You want me to go next, Zilla?
I thought any ladies had any more questions, or anybody that was on Instagram had any questions. But how did you heal from that, brother?
I came to understand when I did it, I was doing it for the little girl. So I just let it be. And if down the line, I know my understanding, if the little girl may come back if she's 18 or whatever, I know I did the right thing.
Mm.
So with me
Did it?
knowing,
Go ahead.
yeah, me knowing that I did the right thing, I just had to leave it at that.
Fair enough.
Mm.
Fair enough. Did it make you look at women differently or feel a certain way about
Oh
women?
yeah, oh yeah, especially not really because every woman you gotta, hold accountable to each one, and each woman is different. But with one more children, I don't think I'm gonna go down that road anymore.
Ladies, how you feel about that?
Do you have children?
I do not.
I think that's sad because for the single moms who are out there who are good women, it's like you had like this is what women complain about all the time, right? I want a good man to help me take care of my children and to be there for me and be there for my child. Well, you had one and you did him wrong, and now because of what you did, he may never do that again.
Facts.
And that's usually what happens.
Hmm.
And a lot of times women don't appreciate. That's why I say like the stepdaddy season and all that. It doesn't get appreciated like it should. It don't get hold to a higher praise when it should. Because for a man to step into a relationship with a woman with a child, he has to take on all that responsibility. When the real dad is not doing what he's supposed to be doing, like giving him a free card, like he can go do what he want to do. And for that man to take that seriously, a lot of men wouldn't do that. And so when women, even with a conversation around with women, they don't even talk about that thing. It need to be more conversations about that as far as look, when you have a man who's stepping in, appreciate that man, celebrate that man to the highest praise. Because that's the only way it's gonna get through because the sisterhood is very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes you question if when when a stepdad when a man steps in and when a man steps in, is he really truly appreciated because of him, or or is he placed there as a pawn to piss off the actual dad? In those situations, I know that shit. I've been a stepdad. Shit, if I look, I think most people when they first started coming up and getting, being involved in relationships, they probably wanted 10 kids. Couldn't quite do it. But start meeting women, they have kids, and you cool with them. Take a liking to them. But it's stuff like that make it so that guy's just like, hey, look, man, we're not dealing with it, like, because it's hard to extend yourself to somebody and then they don't appreciate the work you did. And then let's say if you, like in your case, brother, you had an extremely close relationship with the kids, and then all of a sudden, then the family members start acting up, and they essentially, tore apart that relationship. That's not cool. And they're not even thinking about the child, and and at that point, they're on some other shit. And I think that's mainly like a very main reason why a lot of guys just choose not to deal with it because it's I don't think anybody understands that if you take that role and then it's taken away from you, you have no power. You just got to deal with it. Kind of like what you said. You got to deal with it. What man wants to hold on to that? That's something I think that's not really discussed enough. Like we do this male versus female thing, and I'm really not a huge fan of that. It's about the kids and what they need. You know, that's reason. It kind of go back to that first thing we were talking about, the alpha male. So you want to leave these kids out here to fend for themselves, but then we complain about how they are, but you don't want nobody to step in and do anything either. You see what I'm saying? Like we just going in this circle, so everybody just want them to fend for themselves. It don't make sense. Then don't complain about how they turn out then. So I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. I mean, yeah, it just
Me too.
it just it need to be appreciation towards that, and women with children, when a man step in and a good man step in to do that, appreciate that man because y- hey, a lot of dudes ain't gonna do that, and a lot of dudes walking the other way like, nah, I ain't gonna deal with that. And the headache and the baby daddy and all that, depending on the situation, a lot of women don't look at that and say, man, he's really have a lot on his shoulders. And like you say, he's extending himself more than usual. You know, you working 13-hour days and then come home, you got the child want to say, hey, I want to come over there and hang with you. Then you got to send yourself thin when you could be doing something else with that time.
Right.
Right.
Shout out to Reddy and Picasso. Um, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I done went through the same shit, man. I understand also contradictory to the ladies foolishly acting the way they act. They don't know no better, but at the same time, uh, they don't trust. Uh, if a man, most men, women think just want to approach them for some sex, but they're not looking at the actions behind uh, the word. So I do get it.
Mhm.
I do get it. And then what's the most painful shit a woman ever did to you?
Well, without getting extremely deep into it, I think that especially how I am now, where I am in my life, and how established I am, I think the most painful thing a woman has ever done is not believed in me.
Yep.
Um, I have, we talk about the potentials, we talk about all these other things, but if you're putting in the work and you have proven to have a blueprint, um, especially coming from where we come from, I don't like to say that I'm 39 and I've fallen twice, and 39 isn't a long time. I've only been in an adult world for so long, but to say that you've had a couple of falls and now you've gotten it together and you've always had the potential, but I think that it stings as a man who's getting it together where a woman for whatever she's thinking about, if she doesn't believe in you and you had already kind of decided, hey, this is the woman that I'm choosing, but then she goes through something, um, whether it be like something that she been through in the past, and you may remind her of it, but instead of a conversation, it just things just start switching up. You don't believe in a man. It's tough because I was raised to believe that a woman will come and enhance my lifestyle and how I am, who I am, my strength. No matter what it is, she's going to enhance it. And to have a woman not believe in you, uh, that's a real letdown. So
Yeah.
that's the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Any woman who chooses you should choose to stick with you while you're building, branding, or whatever, working towards your dreams. She should support you because she chose you. So she should respect your decisions and
Yeah.
stand behind you when you're working towards your goals.
I hate it when a woman be like, "Oh, I'll ride with a nigga, but I ain't riding on rims." Like, what, bitch? You crazy?
Well, from my point of
You
view, I think
crazy?
if we could all focus on the qualities of a woman and the qualities of a man, it would make things much more simpler for
Mhm.
any relationship.
Yeah. But that was an honest answer for me because relationships you're gonna have ups and downs, but that's a major decision. When you make like all choices have consequences, and if you choose to not believe in a man and you can see that he's doing this or doing that, like I think you have to take the time to figure out if that's something you really want to do.
Would you
'Cause
consider yourself an alpha male?
do I consider myself?
Yes.
Yes. I was a student. I was a student of a lot of males who believed that they were alpha males, and I've met some men who were alpha males, and I was a student, and I watched as much as I could, and I've shown and proven myself. My children are good. Most people around me are doing very good, doing very well.
Hmm.
But I'm not the type of person to walk around like I'm the new sheriff in town and you got to listen to every damn thing. No, you have to have humility. You have to have empathy. You have to be able to recognize strengths in people and being able to know where to place them in life or help direct them in certain in certain areas. So those are one of a few of many qualities of an alpha male, and I believe I possess those because it shows by the people around me.
I asked you that because I noticed within like some women, when they get a man, an alpha male, it becomes like a game to them. Like they want to be overpowering you or they want to break a man. Because you stand your ground, they want to break you. It becomes a fucking game, basically.
Mhm. It
So that's why I asked that.
yeah, it becomes an interesting dynamic when you are around a woman who have not had a man love them. Like they haven't had their father in their life, so the way that they see love is only men that's interested in sleeping with them. But then when you get a man that really cares about you and is coming with some instructions and directions, those words can be triggering to some women who have never been around a man that will talk and say what needs to be done. I can be straightforward, and I've spoken to some of my friends, some of my female friends, and they tell me, "Hey, you said that a little bit too hard. Maybe you can think about it a little bit about how you're saying it, how a person may receive it." So that's a part of like leadership. Sometimes you have to learn you sit back and watch people and learn how to manage them, how to talk to them, how to do those things. But it's gonna be some people who gonna try you, and it's usually the people who have never experienced a person like you before, and they have been taught, um, that convoluted alpha male thing. So like, okay, you trying to run stuff. They got all these different catchphrases about men now. They talk about toxic masculinity. They talk about, um, how everybody's marginalized and patriarchy is this terrible thing and all that. But it like all that stuff is just to stomp on what a man truly is. And a lot of the times those blanket terms and statements get thrown out there and it makes it tough for men who are men. Look at how many men are in jail right now for stuff that in these times you wouldn't even go to jail for, but they still in jail and can't even get out. Those guys were like really stand up guys. They was able to check some of these knuckleheads out here, right? Help keep certain things in line. And a lot of those guys are gone. So now to find some people who not afraid to stand up and talk about and say what's right, those type of men are far and in between. So it's a very interesting dynamic.
And those are the type of men that women go for. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah. Speaking of alpha males, we got the gunslinger up in this motherfucker. Okay, here we go. Andy Beats up in here. Right.
Make sure y'all share the live on Instagram also as well. He said a woman didn't believe in. Can you explain what type of uh behavior, or can you explain what type of results that did to your self, your mind, your
Your
mental, your
ego.
Absolutely. I think that when you grow up a certain way and you're living a certain way, you know, you guys know I do the Tay Newsy show. I sell bags and all that stuff. I have my own business. I've always been like that since I was a kid. I've always been the type of person to try to find a way to make
Make
it.
something out of nothing.
You know, like I
Make
love to
nothing.
work.
That's what I
I
say
am
too.
a working man. That's what I do. And sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself when it comes to certain things. If I have a goal, you know how some people binge watch TV and stuff like that. Like if you like a show, a series or something, you'll wait till the whole thing come out and then you'll binge watch it, right? Well, that's
Hmm.
how I am when I get excited about work. So if I see a goal and I'm like, okay, I'm on this, I will sometimes I'll be on that. Like I'm just like, I want to get this done. I'm focused on this. And sometimes I don't um counsel or get the opinion of those around me because I'm so excited and so driven to get it done. So I think that a lot of the times in those situations where a woman didn't believe in me is because she did not really take the time to get to know what kind of man I am. And then that turned into me not spending enough time or me not being available in a way that that she needed me to be. When in reality, if I had a way for her to understand where I come from, or any woman for that matter, um, she would help assist the brother. And it's like we're still spending time. We're spending quality time getting this stuff done instead of sitting back complaining about why am I working so hard and why are you sitting back waiting on me to come home and do it? Like we could work together and then we can relax together. I don't want to
Support.
come home and have to think about what am I gonna do now to decompress? What am I gonna do now? Like you're not even a part of that no more because you don't even understand the quality of work that I've done outside of this because you didn't want to be a part of it. You know, so I take some um, of the blame for that for not being vocal enough. However, um, I forgot which one of y'all said it, but when a woman chooses you, her level of interest, I believe that seeking that knowledge is also important because that's another huge part of a relationship is communication. And I'll take my end of it, and I'll tell you this: when I did not, or any time that a woman didn't believe in me anymore, me knowing who I am, um, it did make me sit back and question, like, okay, well, am I really as good as I say? You know, am I really as good as I say I am? And it's okay for me to be vulnerable like this because you want you want a woman to know what a man think. A lot of the time we just be like, you know, it's good. I'm all right. You know, but we know when you say I'm all right, we know we not really all right, but it's like it's all right. You know, cause but um I think that's something that that ladies have to understand about us. That's that part about like us not being viewed as human beings too. We
Right.
have our own struggles, we have our own journeys and our own way of dealing with things. We're no different than anybody else. We want to be heard, valued, respected, and understood, just like the ladies do.
Yeah.
And if a woman chooses me and then not believe in me no more, it can be devastating. If he really down with it. Now, if I'm a young man and I'm just out here being Mr. Milkbone, that's different. I can overlook a whole lot of stuff. But when you're trying to be established and get your stuff together and you like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and you pull the plug on me, I'm like, God damn, you almost sunk the ship.
But what about the children? Like, for the men who are actually putting in the work to take care of children that they didn't birth, and then to have a woman just basically like, oh, I don't need you no more. Like, I don't know if they realize what they're doing, but that messes someone up.
Well, it
Well,
messes them up. I think it messes them up because they already misguided.
And the
That's
children.
yeah, and I mean the children. That's the ultimate part right there. If you don't get it together, and the kids, they're already sponges taking in all this information. They're learning stuff. They're able to get answers like a whole lot faster than we were able to. And we grew up with computers, but we had dial up. You know what I'm saying? Now they got high speed and they can just whatever it is that they want to know, they can get it right there on the dime. So if we don't take care of that, um, take care of what the kids need by showing them things, because you can tell a kid anything. It doesn't matter. They pay attention to what you do.
They do. They
So
really
Mm-hmm.
do.
if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it's gonna show with your kids and young
Mm-hmm.
people around you.
And children love to have a father figure in their life. Like, I don't know how many women realize that, how important that is. It's important to have that.
Yeah.
MD, what's the
We
most
have
painful
fathers.
thing a woman ever did to you, man?
MD.
I'm trying to think. I had a chick mess with one of my friends when I was at work.
Yeah.
Father said they was going to work, but I found out. I don't even remember how I found out. It just always comes back because I don't try and do people dirty. I don't do stuff behind people's back.
Right.
But everything that you're doing will come to the light.
Right.
And how did you get over that? I mean, did it hurt you?
Of course, but I'm a very laid back person. I don't really let things get to me like that. So I dust shit off like that.
And how did it make you feel about women now?
Oh, it didn't make me feel no type of way about women. I'm still me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that woman, hmm
I mean, it just made me look at her different. That's all. Like, oh, that's who you really are.
Mm.
I mean, that's how you gotta look at it. I mean, can't let life beat you up.
well, salute to you for not allowing that to change your perspective of women in general.
Yeah.
That's very big of you.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's how we
that's a
carry
lot.
on. We carry on with stuff like that all the time. But even though our good brother says that, there is something there. I mean, you have to have an outlet. You have to have a way to just continue to move on. I'm not speaking for you, MD, but I think um, everybody's different and they deal with situations differently. And we don't want to have it so that because we got one good brother up here that can deal with that, that doesn't mean that all brothers handle it that way. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And
Everybody don't.
and because of the information, it goes it sweeps through the United States and through the world so fast
hmm
that that information can go out to think, okay, this is how all of them are. We hear that a lot. We hear a lot of generalizations from both sides, like, oh, this
Yeah,
is how women are, this is how men are. Nah, I mean, everybody's pretty complex individuals. You gotta take time to understand it. Don't put each other in a box. So one thing I could say about him that he said that I love that he had mentioned was that it was just he felt that way about that one person. Everybody deserve a clean slate. I don't know you. I don't know you. Yeah, my past experience is gonna be there, so I'll be wise enough to kind of see things as they're happening. That way, I can ask the right questions, so I don't just try to jump ahead. I think I said on somebody live. I said I told this one female. I said, well, you can't try to. I said you can't try to prevent the crash landing before you even take off. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You don't know the altitude, you don't know the speed, you don't know nothing. You talking about you trying to get ahead of somebody and tell them what you ain't gonna do and what you are and this and that. You don't even know this person temperament. You don't know anything about them. You
Right.
about to sabotage. You about to ruin something before somebody even want to give you a chance.
Right.
You know, and I think we all tend to do that if we carry the trauma. So I big ups to MD for just keeping it 100. Like, man, hey, this is for one person and one person alone. It's
Mhm.
big, man.
Yeah.
Very
I
big.
guess it's my turn, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just bullshit. The most painfulest thing a woman has done to me was intentionally just try to hurt me and slow me down and keep me away from my